kind of give you the background of what I do. Some of you may know some familiar faces in the room know what I do with Disability Services. But the function and purpose of Disability Services is to provide accommodations for students on campus with disabilities. But that also includes ensuring that our students on campus have equal access to programs and services and things perhaps that non-disabled students have access to. Last year, we had a wheelchair user, and I'll give her name, and I know she would not care if I share this because she's very vocal on campus. I'll give it a moment, whatever, but she shared with me that, that she had an issue when she went over to the, and I didn't know this, the shuttle services goes over to Newport on the levee, and there was an issue regarding the access shuttle. There was the individual who was driving this day, she attempted to get on, and they said, well, I don't know how to operate the lift, it's broken anyway, slammed the door in her face and drove away. She had gotten there with other students, whatever, who put her chair in their car, but one person who drove that day had to leave, and so they were just going to take the shuttle back to campus. And so completely denied her access to a service that she pays for through her student fees. And the student is Sarah Whitestone, as some of you may know, she's on student government. And so she alerted my office and the president's office that this occurred, Department of Services, and the individual is no longer employed here. But it kind of spoke to why that incident occurred and why that individual felt the need to slam the door literally in her face when she had access to something that had a UC badge on it in front of her face. And so it was denying access for that student. And so we looked into it more and realized that part of the person's statement was correct, that the shuttle lift did not work. And so in partnership with my office, shuttle services, and other departments, the university purchased, Croswell purchased 6 brand new ADA compliant shuttle vans that you see around campus. Now, you may not notice them in the aspect that they're brand new and they're shiny, but there's a purpose and reason why they actually materialized on campus due to not having equal access for a student who's paying the same student fees as a non-disabled student. Similar to the situation also is the student, same individual, Sarah, was off campus participating in some of the bars and whatnot, hanging out with friends, and she wanted to use the night ride van. And the night ride van that we have was not wheelchair accessible. So again, it was brought forth, the student government brought forth to university administration, and I'm proud to say, in 3 weeks' time, we had a brand new shuttle van here that was compliant, that would allow wheelchair users or individuals with mobility devices to ride the night ride van. Now, is it popular to say at the university we need $45,000, to make this compliant? Yes, in my opinion, it really doesn't matter, because you can't look at a $45,000 van at a university with a $1.2 billion budget. It's a drop in the bucket. And so, in looking at something that may not be popular in a sense of looking at dollars and cents, you can look at it from the ADA side of things, which I'm not going to do that. I look at it from the student perspective, and as what we call in student affairs, the student experience. That student should have the same student experience as any of her non-disabled peers. And so when looking at an opportunity to share with administration that student's experience should be just as positive, encouraging, and fun, if you will, as any other student, should be brought to the table. And I'm proud to say, this institution, that we are, some cases, reactive, obviously in those two situations, but a lot of times proactive, and trying to make sure that things are accessible and compliant for students. And so sometimes it may seem unpopular to have those conversations, but when it comes to giving a student the opportunity to have equal access, it is popular.
Well, I'll go next. First, I want to thank you for including me on the panel. I find the questions actually to take me back down memory lane, and that's the issue about the work that we're doing. Your experience, no matter how long, you'll have different experiences. On any day, you never know what you're going to encounter. That's what's beautiful about the work. It's beautiful or not beautiful about the work we do. We don't know who's coming in the door. It doesn't matter where you work, right? So right away, I mean, when I thought about this question, I thought about part of my philosophy of working related to students. And I developed this a long time ago. I don't think it's original, but either I got it from somebody or I developed it myself. And it says basically this: the student is always right until proven wrong. And that's where I work. Because all of us, we say we're student advocates. And so my issue is we should practice what we preach. Many of us, if not all of us, as students, needed people to advocate for us. I can remember coming along in college at Eastern Kentucky University, coming up, you know, in high school. There was no advocates for black students. I experienced a life of no advocacy. Basically, my experience of really seeing that happen was when I came to the University of Cincinnati. And all of a sudden was just thrust into this environment and had a few role models that I could look at and see what they did. But that's what guides me. And you have to understand, in my work for the most part has dealt with the issue of race, right? So I've had like generations of students who first thing they'll come in and say, this institution is racist, or my professor was racist. Okay, I'm going to believe you, Kim, if you can define racism and then give me an example that shows me that. Now we on. But I'm not going to step out there and look like a fool. I'm not going to become emotional because you look like me. I don't like this place anyway, and I'm going to be emotional. But I will accept the fact, based on, up to the point I cannot, that you are right. So that's how, in terms of advocacy, right away when the student feels like you're really listening to them and you're for them, that to me is like when that starts. So when you ask, okay, how do you approach that? I do my research, and here's the most important thing I found. I build partnerships. And I build partnerships with people who don't think I'm able to build partnerships with. For example, I'm going to give this example again. In the issue of race, for a long time, an area where people won't step out and help you, for the most part, people historically have felt that was a black thing. Well, guess what I would do? I would build partnership with someone white or Asian. So I go outside who I am and build partnerships with other people, because in reality, they'll probably leave those people before they will me, plus let them get dirty too. Let them get beat up a little bit too. And especially building those partnerships with white faculty members. I can tell you all this. I may not still be here if it were not for building allies with people who I thought were against me. Langston Camlin, many of you all know, I met Dr. Camlin through controversy. And that taught me right there. So out of something bad can always come something good. That taught me right there the importance of building partnerships. So I think advocacy and building partnerships is something that's very important. Well, what's an example? I could give many, but certainly one of you all would know I probably would say this one. The establishment of the AACRC. The establishment of the Black Culture Center. Right away here at the University of Cincinnati, that's going to be challenging because two things happen. One, we deal with an issue of race, something that's race specific. At a time when we're starting to talk about diversity and people want to say, well, isn't that excluding us? So not just an issue of being race specific, but the whole issue now of establishing something that looks like it's providing privilege. And so when I look back at the whole issue of establishing ACRC, actually there were challenges, but because, Robin, there was a community that we had established here based on people of difference understanding the issue. Meaning, if student government had said, no, we don't want the Black Culture Center. If the faculty here, who's mostly white, had said, no, we don't want the Black Cultural Center. If there had been people who had said that, it would have created more of a problem. So we did that homework of people who were like-minded coming together and moving with our students who came with the right attitude, who did the right homework, and most of all, who listened. To be an advocate, you got to have people listen to you. And so that's, you know, I guess one of the best things that I can look back over my work is to say that I have had people who have listened. And it's allowed us to work together to accomplish some things here at UC.